Here it is. We're done.
Off we go. 5 months through.
5 months.
And this is the last time we're sleeping at this campsite.
Yeah. Empty.
We have left our roots.
5 months. Okay, maybe not. At this spot was what, 4 months?
4.5.
Something like that. Winston is saying goodbye.
Off we go.
This was us, after our 5-month South Australian bush experience. We were fortunate enough to spend all of that time working as outdoor adventure tour guides. Many people would cross the entire world to experience Kangaroo Island for a day. We got to live it. How did 2 Europeans end up on some remote island off of the South Australian coast, you might wonder? Well, let us tell you a little story.
This is me, Laurent, in my little house in France.
And this is me, Simone, in my little house in Rome, Italy.
Like most kids, we went to school and got our high school certificates.
And, like most kids, we had 2 loving parents who wanted us to have a bright future.
So we listened to their sound advice and enrolled in our bachelor's degree. And 3 years later, it was finally time to graduate.
So Mom and Dad started playing their favorite record again. It is so difficult to decide what one thing we want to do with our lives. It's an impossible feat, designed at its core for failure or constant fear of falling in the wrong place. So instead of 4 walls, we got 4 wheels. In an attempt to break these social constraints, we landed on Kangaroo Island.
Every workday would start the same way. We woke up and hopped straight into the front seats to drive our bed to work.
This professionally painted shed is where the magic happened. From quad biking tours to kayaking down the river. Just like our morning, everything begins here. Once we were set up, we were prepared for our first customers.
Hey, dude.
Every tour was a different experience. At face value, it looks like just another quad bike ride. But in reality, the quad bike was only really our means of transport. Our goal was to cater each tour to make every customer come out with a new appreciation for the world that surrounds us. The type of world that is too often getting pushed out by big concrete buildings.
As you can see, this one is almost 3 meters tall, so it's almost 300 years old. They can really fit in just right between these scales, and as it dies, this will fall out, and it will take the fragments of the sap out with it.
See if I find a little bit of a cleaner spot.
That's beautiful. It's
But
like
yeah.
a little rock.
It is. So that's the blood of the tree, and there we go. That's the orange I was looking for. It's very bright.
Wow.
Kind of stuff. And then you can kind of peek inside, you can see all the bees and the little honeycombs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, freaky.
And least aggressive bees out there, which is why they're so special. But they seem relatively agitated.
Yep.
I think we're gonna go back a bit. A core aspect of the job was sharing the knowledge that we accumulated about the Kangaroo Island flora and fauna. We even got to enjoy watching local Australians marvel at the beauty of their own wildlife up close. As 2 Europeans, every kangaroo or snake encounter was awe-inspiring. So instead of letting us tell you why the wildlife was so great, we're just going to let our Australian colleagues describe it for you.
About KI itself, I liked all the wildlife because it was everywhere, and I never got sick of seeing goannas and koalas and kangaroos and snakes and all kinds of wonderful things.
Every time I go out, like for a walk or for a kayak or something happens. There's an eagle right above me, or there's like seals playing in the waves, or echidnas coming out, or wildlife is just crazy here. And every time I go and do something like a walk or whatever outdoors, I always witness something that just reminds me why I'm here.
Are you making new friends, Timo?
I like being nice and close to nature, basically living in nature, having the wildlife everywhere. It's something that you really don't get, for example, where I'm now in the city. You just don't get it. It's not every day you sort of walk out and see a kangaroo hopping along the road. So that's something I do actually really like. I really miss the wildlife from the island, to be perfectly honest.
You were very much part of nature and shared it, whether you liked it or not, with a lot of different animals. So it's kind of cool. It's interesting to see the impact of what humans have on a natural area, but at the same time how easy it is to coexist.
We got to share KI's unique wildlife with the remarkable people who stepped foot on the island, and sometimes they were able to leave an imprint on us.
Yeah, I was actually looking at the letter that I got from little Jim. It was a father-son tour that came back a second time, and he was on little 50, and he was just loving life. First time he'd ever ridden a quad bike, and he just, from the time that he learned and then the time that we were finishing the tour, like, he just progressed so much. And just a grin from ear to ear, you could see it through his helmet.
We did a quad tour raising money for the Women's and Children's Hospital Foundation. And Christina, the lovely lady who is the organiser for that foundation, came over. And she sat as a passenger for half of the tour because she's got 10% vision in one eye and none in the other. And then we stopped in the open grasslands and got her on a bike. And I rode next to her on a big bike and I just shouted direction. And she rode around, very safe, of course. We didn't go over 60 kilometres. And she was absolutely ecstatic, and she said it was so great to have a spot out there with nothing you could run into, or nothing you could see anyway. That's probably one of my favourite moments.
After observing many animals and beautiful sceneries, it was time to head back to the campsite and enjoy the island as locals.
And like I've worked in small business and small close-knit communities, you know, working on stations and farms and stuff where your contact hours, you spend more time with workers and your boss than you do family and friends. But yeah, it was just a really nice combination of, you know, being very social throughout, well, from the moment you woke up to when you went to sleep, I guess.
It was like a whole new lifestyle. We'd be working and playing with the same 6 people. Like, you go to work and then have dinner and then go for it down the beach, for a swim, and you hang out on your days off. It was just like this, it felt like we were away at summer camp. And like our workmates became some of our best friends.
I've been away from Kangaroo Island many times, and I think it's important that you do that so you can see what the world looks like. But I keep going back because all of the places where we can stop and we can't hear a single other human-made noise, that floats my boat.
Catches me, that place. Any opportunity I got, I would have been down there. It's so calm, yet, you know, you'd watch the waves coming in and secluded, and you were the only person then and there. It was a great little escape. It's something not a lot of people get to actually experience.
So Cape Cossain kind of felt like this secret little hideaway place. And it's a pretty incredible beach. It's so rugged, it's so, isolated, and it's just absolutely stunning, and it changes every time that you go there.
I liked lots of places. I have good memories attached to lots of places. The cottage.
The little cottage.
The cottage.
Cottage.
It was 20 or 30 years old. It had running water, power, cooking facilities as such. It was all very basic, but it was all there. Obviously, no one having lived in it for a while, there was a few things that needed fixing. Shoo some of the wildlife out, like the bats. Well, we never really got rid of the mice, to be honest. The snake kind of moved on pretty quickly once he realised we weren't there. No doubt that cottage holds a very, very, very nice place in my heart. Very much suited my lifestyle down to a T.
One of my favourite places was definitely outside the cottage, sort of around sunset in the evening there, sitting around the fire, with that backdrop of Vermont Bay and the yucca plants and all the kangaroos and the wallabies around there. I love that, and it's something that I actually really, really miss.
Hello, Ned. Yo.
Yeah, I certainly do miss being down in KI. Like, the lifestyle that we do live for that period of time, however long we're down there, like, it's such a unique place, a unique lifestyle, but it's such a life-changing type experience, isn't it?
Like I said, I've done a lot of work in travel and in different fields. I'm going to say a lot of it hasn't been glamorous work, but it's definitely something I suggest anyone gives a crack. Doesn't matter if you're shoveling dirt, running dirt bike tours, you know, pumping out, making coffees or serving at a bar. Just go and do it somewhere that's not at home. It might seem like you're just doing the 9 to 5 somewhere else, but it's a completely different experience, even if it's just, you know, in the next state, let alone at the other side of the country that you live in or the other side of the continent.